It was the kind of story that moved fast, first through Frisco, across North Texas, then nationally.
It took my soul too.
I'm so sorry.
A fight under a team tent, a knife, and a 17-year-old student athlete who died in his twin brother's arms.
He was going to turn out to be a great individual.
Austin Metcalf was a student at Frisco's Memorial High School. Police say he was stabbed on April 2nd, 2025, during a district track meet at Kirkendall Stadium. Investigators say Karmelo Anthony, then also 17, was sitting under a tent for a school he did not attend. According to eyewitnesses, Metcalf told him to leave. What happened next will be at the center of this murder trial. Police say Anthony fatally stabbed Metcalf once in the chest. His father, Jeff, expressing his disbelief to Fox 4.
I told him it's not goodbye. It's see you later.
Online, the case exploded. Rumors raced ahead of facts. From jail, Karmelo Anthony claimed self-defense and was held on a $1 million bond. But 12 days after the crime, he was released on house arrest after a judge reduced his bail to $250,000, in part because of his clean record. 3 days later, a press conference was called on his parents' behalf. They begged the public to turn down the temperature.
I don't know why we're being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial.
Though the heat would only rise after Austin Metcalf's father showed up to a press conference and was escorted out by Dallas police for not having an invitation. Now, after months of relative quiet, the arguments move from online debate to a Collin County courtroom. Jury selection begins is expected to last 3 days. Former Dallas County Assistant DA Russell Wilson is not connected to the case, but says finding jurors who have not heard about it or have not formed opinions will be a challenge.
I actually believe you can certainly get somebody who believes that they are unbiased. But whether or not they actually are, you don't necessarily know until the actual case starts unfolding.
The defense is expected to lean hard into self-defense. In Texas, that shifts the burden to the state.
If self-defense is an issue in the case, the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that it was not self-defense.
For prosecutors, it may all likely come down to the sequence of events under that tent.
They've got to come in and show, in essence, that the conduct that occurred prior to this incident did not warrant the amount of force that was used.
Strict rules are in place. No cameras inside the courtroom. There's also discussion about limiting other electronic devices, all to preserve order and keep the case from turning into a courthouse spectacle.
For the lawyer's perspective, part of it is to try to shut out the noise.
Noise in the court of public opinion about to shift to a real court.
For months, this case has played out across social media, long before a jury was ever selected, long before opening statements. Millions of people had already picked a side. Some believe it was self-defense. Others believe it was murder. But today, the conversation officially moves into a courtroom. Jury selection has now begun in the Karmelo Anthony case. And for the first time, the focus shifts away from internet opinion to what prosecutors can actually prove. Because now, every statement, every witness, and every detail could shape the outcome of one of the most talked about cases in the country.
My name is Kayla Hayes. I am the mother of Karmelo Anthony. 3 years ago, my family moved to North Texas searching for a better life. Like so many other families, we wanted to give our children the future we did not have. My husband works hard every single day to provide for us, to make sure we're in the best financial position possible. As a stay-at-home mom, I made it my life's mission to ensure our children are loved, nurtured, and supported every step of the way. In wake of this tragic incident, our family has been under attack. Whatever you think what happened between Karmelo and the Metcalf boys, my 3 younger children, my husband, and I didn't do anything to deserve to be threatened, harassed, and lied about. The lies and false accusations that have been said about us, especially over the past week, has been overwhelming. The lies and their amplification put my family in danger, as well as everyone in our community, everyone involved in the investigation, from the police, the attorneys, and the court staff. Our address and my husband's previous employer's address has been put on all social media platforms. My husband had to take a leave of absence because he's afraid what may happen to our family. His mental health is deteriorating day by day. We have endured death threats. My 13-year-old daughter is afraid to sleep in her own bedroom because she's fearful of what may happen to her. And let me be clear, the claims that were used about the public donation to buy a home or anything else are completely false. We have not received a single dime from the Give, Send, Go fundraiser. And the co-founder has stated that clearly. In the reality, we were just notified yesterday that we could begin to withdraw funds. And it still takes several days to receive those funds once a request is made. I don't know why we are being targeted and discriminated against before a fair trial. Our son deserves the same rights under the law that everyone is afforded to. He's been raised in a 2-parent home with structure, stability, love, and we put God first in everything that we do. We believe in the Constitution, we believe in the laws of this state, but those laws must apply to all of us, not just some of us. To be clear, we will not speak publicly about specific details of what happened under the tent on that rainy and awful day. There's an active investigation that everyone involved wants to be full and fair. We believe in legal process, and that is where the truth will come out. To the family who experienced the loss, my heart truly goes out to you. To those who have supported my family, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We ask for your continued support, patience, and prayers as we navigate this difficult process. Thank you.
What began as a track meet in Frisco, Texas, quickly turned into a case that would divide public opinion across the country. According to investigators, the confrontation happened beneath a team tent during the event. Authorities say an argument between Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf escalated into violence, ultimately leaving Metcalf dead. The tragedy immediately sent shockwaves through the local community. But as details spread online, the case rapidly became something much larger. Questions surrounding self-defense, racial division, and conflicting narratives began dominating social media conversations long before the case ever reached a courtroom. And every detail could shape the outcome of one of the most talked about cases in the country.
When something like this happens at a school event, it shakes people to the core. But let's remember that the justice system works best when it moves with steadiness and principle. That's what we're committed to, and that's what this case deserves.
We expect that when the full story is heard, the prosecution will not be able to rule out the reasonable doubt that Karmelo Anthony may have acted in self-defense.
The case has gained national attention and set off a social media firestorm. Much of what's swirling online is misinformation. The full story likely won't come out until a potential trial.
There's certainly a lot more to learn. The indictment really focuses on what we would call the elements of a crime.
Russell Wilson is a former Dallas County prosecutor who's not involved in this case. He says the misinformation could be one reason why both sides chose to record statements on such a procedural matter.
I just think it's a reflection of the serious nature of the case and the heightened public interest.
Austin Metcalf's father, Jeff Metcalf, sent us a statement about the indictment. It says, quote, "I am pleased that we are moving forward. With the first-degree murder indictment, it now goes into the court system. I fully believe that justice will be served for Austin Metcalf. I look forward to the forthcoming trial, but it will never bring back my son."
As the investigation continued, the courtroom was no longer the only place where the case was being debated. Across social media, millions of people began analyzing the incident for themselves. Some argued that Karmelo Anthony acted in self-defense. Others believed the confrontation never should have escalated to deadly violence. As opinions spread online, the case slowly transformed from a local tragedy into a national controversy. Videos, comment sections, live streams, and online debates pushed the story far beyond Frisco, Texas. Then came another major turning point: Karmelo Anthony's bond reduction. The decision sparked another wave of backlash online, with critics questioning the court's handling of the case, while supporters argued that public opinion was interfering with the legal process. Soon, both families found themselves at the center of a growing national debate, and by the time the jury selection officially began, finding people who had not already heard about the case became a challenge of its own.
Especially if Austin Metcalf did not have a weapon. Senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez takes a closer look at how a self-defense argument could play out in court.
The defense strategy is already clear.
Self-defense is a protection that applies to each and every one of us.
Explain your self-defense.
Karmelo Anthony's defense attorney, Mike Howard, asked the public to not rush to conclusions before hearing all the evidence surrounding the deadly confrontation between Karmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf.
This is a tragedy all the way around for both families. Rushing to judgment, trial by public perception and trial by media is not how we ensure justice is done.
Legal expert Keith Harris says the defense has to show why the jury should consider self-defense. According to the arrest affidavit, Metcalf was unarmed, while Anthony brought a knife to a track meet.
I think that that's ultimately going to be something that a jury also considers as to whether or not he even should have had it to begin with.
Police say the confrontation began when it was raining and Anthony sat under the tent where Metcalf and his team were sitting. Police say Metcalf asked Anthony to move from under the tent. Officer Taylor Wetzel wrote in an affidavit that a witness told him Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and warned Metcalf, "Touch me again and see what happens." Witnesses told police Metcalf then touched or grabbed Anthony while trying to move him, and Anthony allegedly pulled out a knife, stabbed Metcalf once in the chest. Metcalf's twin brother, Hunter, was standing next to him.
We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." And he's like, "Make me move." Austin grabbed his backpack.
Harris says those facts could become critical for jurors.
The prosecution could say that he was kind of asking for it. I think the flip side for the defense, when you think about it, these are 17-year-old boys. And I was 17 at one point in time. And so you think about 17-year-old boys don't make the best decisions.
In an arrest affidavit, Officer Eduardo Cortez said, "As we were walking him, Anthony, to the squad car, the suspect was emotional and said, 'He put his hands on me. I told him not to.'" Another officer later wrote, "Anthony made another spontaneous statement and asked if what happened could be considered self-defense." Harris says those statements are important because they may help Anthony's attorneys get self-defense in front of a jury.
If the officers testify to what he told them as soon as they got there, that's going to be the scintilla of evidence that defense would need to get self-defense in the charge.
As a defense attorney, they're going to try every avenue. That's their job. The truth will come out.
Under Texas law, once self-defense is raised, prosecutors must disprove it beyond a reasonable doubt. Harris says the defense may argue Anthony reacted emotionally and impulsively in the heat of the moment.
In the months ahead, this courtroom will likely become the center of one of the most closely watched trials in the country. Not because cameras are allowed inside, not because of nonstop media coverage, but because long before the legal process officially began, Millions of people were already debating the outcome online. Now, those opinions must give way to evidence, testimony, and the decisions made inside a real courtroom. For one family, this case represents the loss of a son, a brother, and a future that can never be replaced. For another, it represents a fight against accusations, public pressure, and a legal system now watching every move closely. And somewhere between those two realities, 12 jurors will eventually be asked to decide what truly happened that day in Frisco, Texas. As the trial continues, new details are expected to emerge. Witnesses will testify. Attorneys will present competing narratives. And the courtroom phase of this case is only just beginning.
Do you want to know a secret? Baby, you're my little secret, secret. Do you want to know a secret? Baby, you're my little secret, secret. Do you want to know a secret? I won't tell, and that's how we gotta keep it.